And one more category from me. Now, with anything new, there's always room and a bit of time to grow, and such is the case with the Kennedy Awards. So we've decided to launch the category of Most Outstanding Online Blog by recognising the superb efforts of Wes Hardman of 9MSN.
Wes Hardman's blog on being embedded in Afghanistan made great use of the format to humanise the people he was writing about. He provided quirky insights into the experience of serving and reporting there, bringing a sense of humour and a fresh eye without cliché to offer a take on what has often been reported.
It's a bit of a surprise, thank you very much. We are saluting some other great scallywags of the business, but there are plenty left, including a couple here tonight. A few typewriter throwing Tom Krause and the Ellen Fanning herself, whose opening question I remember to Mick Jagger on a special we were doing was, "Hey Mick, do you ever wake up in the morning stiff in all the wrong places?" So she's looking very demure tonight and very pleasant, but that's a killer journo as well. So, but thank you very much.
Them's fighting words, Hardman. Wes Hardman once wrote a, is this correct? A caption, who cares? He wrote a caption of Princess Anne was pictured, I think was it the Olympics, Wes, or the Commonwealth Games? Her daughter's just won a silver medal in London, and Wes wrote the caption underneath it. There was Princess Anne standing there with the horse. And he said, "Princess Anne left and her horse." I reckon that's worse. All right. Speaking of recognition, our next award is named after a journalist and TV producer whose behind-the-scenes brilliance was well known by everybody in the industry and rarely mentioned in dispatches, except in emails and blogs by those who work with him. I worked with Cliff Neville at 60 Minutes, and he really was, as we've said over and over, the glue that held the program together for his 18 years as supervising producer. Cliffy really was the perfect Chief of Staff.
That afternoon, a twister with 300 km/h winds devoured the pretty little American town of Joplin. 160 people died.
And that report was produced by Cliff Neville, a dear friend and colleague of many at Sunday Night, Channel 9 and right across the television industry.
Cliffy was one of the outstanding team players, there's no question about that.
Cliff treated everyone as an equal, and that was his skill and that was his ability to pull a newsroom and a news organisation together to operate to get the best result.
I think he was just a great diplomat, but a diplomat who actually could get things done.
He would understand that people had differences of opinion, or some people didn't like each other, and he had to put teams of people together so they would work together, sometimes in very difficult and dangerous places, and he did this with consummate skill.
And finally, we've had a death in the 60 Minutes family. Cliff Neville, our much loved and respected colleague, died this week after a short battle with cancer. For many years, he played an enormously valued role here as a producer and Chief of Staff. He is profoundly missed.
A lot of people might remember the bust of the pedophile Robert Dolly Dunn. Liz Hayes and myself went over there, and if it wasn't for Cliff Neville, who was the supervising producer at 60 Minutes, that story would not have happened.
Cliff Neville was a great supervising producer for 60 Minutes. That guy behind the scenes, the unsung hero, is the one who makes a program work or not work. And Cliff Neville was the perfect person to do that. He even had to look after Graham Kennedy when Graham Kennedy was working for the 11 a.m. program. And he was the one that could go up to Graham Kennedy and Cliff would stroke his beard and say, "Graham, I don't think we can do that."
In Cliff's book, no one was better than anybody else. Cliff was a very solid team player.
Cliff was a journalist par excellence, but he also was able to get the best out of other people by being a good diplomat, by being able to offer clever advice, and coming up sometimes with the great ideas for the stories.
If the sky high above should grow dark and full of clouds, yeah, you got a friend.
And here to present the award is another former supervising producer of 60 Minutes, Foundation executive producer of the Sunday program and an ABC foreign correspondent and presenter, Alan Hogan. And joining him on the stage, come on up, is Cliff's longtime partner, Jocelyn Dent, and Cliff's nephew, Mark Neville, who's here from Detroit. Come on over.
Cliff was a very good friend, a great journo, and widely respected by his colleagues. In an industry with some pretty big egos, he had the skills of a great diplomat who could put teams of people together, sometimes who didn't like each other all that much, and get the very best out of them, sometimes under extraordinarily difficult and dangerous circumstances. He did the sort of job that doesn't earn awards in our industry, despite its importance. But he was happy to let others get the credit, knowing that he was widely admired for his great talents. It's absolutely appropriate that tonight's inaugural Kennedy Awards should have a special award for the skill to mark the skills and talents of Cliff Neville. So, the nominees for this award are Lissa McMillan from SBS, James Hamilton from Today Tonight, the 7 Network, and Michael Thompson from The Ray Hadley Show, 2GB. And the winner tonight of the Cliff Neville Award is James Hamilton from Today Tonight.
The behind-the-scenes player, Jimmy embodies everything Cliff stood for and represented. Untiring in his work, his dedication to his craft has made Jimmy one of the most recognised, brilliant current affairs editors this country has seen. In pressure cooker situations, his resolve is unflappable, his determination immense. In 20 years of editing, he's never missed a deadline, regardless of the craziness of the deadline imposed.
Thank you, Today Tonight's Cheer Squad. This is a real great honour to receive this, named after Cliff. This is amazing, particularly as an editor, since the Walkleys don't acknowledge our existence as a species. So. I just want to thank everyone at Today Tonight who's been like my family for a long time. I've been there since 1842, and my editing team, Jules, Chanel, Josh, Leon, and everyone there. And of course, I owe a lot to Peter Meakin and Craig McPherson, and this really means a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jimmy. Who hasn't been saved by an editor, hey? And now another award for a role that is not usually celebrated in the industry. It's the Les Kennedy Mentoring Award. While Les was busy being a shoe leather journalist and breaking stories, he never walked away from a younger colleague who needed help or advice. In what is really the increasingly impersonal world of digital journalism, mentors are needed now more than ever. And here to present the Mentoring Award is Les's son Marcus and his sister Josephine. Please make them welcome. Oh, it's just Marcus. I apologise.
Thanks, Ellen. Dad didn't talk much about his work at home. I didn't think that he felt like his work was suitable for much younger ears. But we knew that he loved it, and I think that he would be overwhelmed at the launch of the Journalism Awards in his honour. On behalf of the family, thank you for remembering him in this way. He would be honoured. And the nominees are Claudia Toronto, ABC, Mike Bowers, The Global Mail. And David Richardson, Today Tonight, 7 Network. And the winner is Claudia Toronto, ABC National.
Nominated by Catherine Merchant, Claudia Taranto is a senior executive producer for ABC's Radio National. She's been a committed and generous mentor, giving emerging radio producers encouragement to enhance their careers.
Gosh, it is a real honour, and particularly because this award is named after Les, and from what I've learned of him tonight, it feels like a real honour to get this award. A big thank you to Catherine Merchant, a talented young broadcaster who nominated me, and to all the young people that I work with mentoring. And yes, Vive la Radio, in fact Vive la Radio documentaries. There's actually a renaissance of radio documentaries going on in the English-speaking world at the moment, and 360 Documentaries, the program I work on, is part of it. And thank you, everyone.